Okay. Hello, my name is Brian Steven Pulido, and together with my partner Daniela Diaz, we will carry out this activity from the Colombian education course. The purpose of this exercise is to conduct an interview in English where a critical question are asked about bilingual policy in Colombia. The basic learning right of English, the subject curriculum, the role of emerging technology in teaching, and inclusive education. Throughout this activity, we going to reflect on the progress and the changes of the Colombian educational system regarding English teaching, while also strengthening our communicative competence in this language. Okay. Um, Hello, Daniela. Thank you for joining this interview. I would like to ask you some critical questions about bilingualism in education in Colombia. Okay, let's begin.
Okay.
One, to what extent have Colombian bilingualism policies reduced inequalities between urban and rural schools, or have they an international dependent?
Okay. First, hello, Brian. Hello, everyone. Thank you for your invitation. Okay, that's very important question in reality. Bilingualism policies have often depend in qualities. Urban schools, especially private ones, usually have better trained teachers and resources, while rural schools struggle with a lack of materials, of limited exposure to English. So the intention of equality exists, but the implementation has not been effective.
I agree with you. The policies will intonation where they don't address the structural problem. Is the government really wants equality? It must invest in rural teacher training and improving research. Otherwise, the gap will keep growing. Okay. Two, how could Colombia design and bilingual policy that respects local language and cultural identities while still promoting English proficiency?
I think Colombia needs to recognize its own multilingual reality first. Policies should not only push for English, but also value indigenous languages and Spanish varieties. A more cultural approach will make the students feel that learning English adds to their identity rather than replacing it.
Okay, that's an excellent point. Promoting English should not mean erasing local cultures. I believe a true bilingual policy must celebrate diversity, so students can see English as an opportunity, not as threat of their cultural identity. Okay, three are the basic learning right of English established by the Ministry of Education as minimum standard to get communicate competence in listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Realistically, aligning with the linguistic and socioeconomic condition of Colombian students.
Not really. The basic learning rights are ambitious, but many students lack the background or resource to meet them. For example, in low-income schools, there are many not be enough English hours to train it or train the teachers. So the goals exist on the paper, but are not often disconnected from reality.
Okay, I completely agree. Sharing standards is important, but they must be realistic. Without adapting the down-schooling context, the DBA rates becoming symbolic rather than practical tools. Okay, four, how flexibly is it for public school to achieve the B1 proficiency level by grade 11, considering the resource currently available?
Honestly, it's quite difficult. Some elite schools can reach B2 or either, but most public schools face a overcrowded classroom and few opportunities for practice. Without stronger teacher training and investment in materials, achieving B1 for all students remains more aspirations than attainable target.
Okay, that's true. The expectation of B1 proficiency is too optimistic given the current situation. I think the government should first guarantee better classroom conditions before setting such demanding goals. Okay, Daniela. And next, 5. What role can emerging technologies like AI or mobile apps play in making English learning more inclusive and personalized in Colombia?
Emerging technologies can make a big difference. For example, apps can give students instant feedback and allow them to practice outside the classroom. And tools can adapt to each learning pace. If implemented well, they can help reduce gaps, especially when the schools cannot provide enough English instruction.
Okay, that's very true. Technology has a lot of potential, but only if teachers are trying to integrate it effectively. Otherwise, it becomes just another tool without real pedagogical impact. Okay, 6. Could overlaps on digital tools in English teaching rates widen the gap between students with and without stable internet?
Yes, absolutely. If digital tools become the main strategy, students in rural or low-income areas could be left behind. For technology to be inclusive, a school must guarantee internet access and provide device. Otherwise, technology will just reinforce existing inequalities.
Exactly. Technology must go hand in hand with infrastructure. Otherwise, instead of solving inequalities, it will make them worse. Okay, Daniela. 7. How effectively does the Colombian inclusive education policy integrate students with disabilities into English language learning?
Progress has been made, but it's still limited. Policies talk about inclusion, but in the practice, many English teachers don't have enough training to adapt materials for students with disabilities. Sometimes these students are physically present in classroom, but not fully participating in English learning.
Okay, I agree with you. Inclusion should not be only physical presence. Teachers needed specific training and resources to make sure that students with disabilities actually learn and participate in English class. Okay. Um, Finally, 8. What pedagogical strategy for technology could be most impactful in ensuring students with special needs achieve meaningful English learning?
I believe using multimodal strategies is key. For example, a visualized interactive software and personalized learning plans can make a big impact. Also, teacher training in inclusive methodologies is essential. Technology can support this, but the teacher sensitivity and creativity are what truly ensure inclusion.
I totally agree. Inclusive education requires both toward the human commitment. Teachers who are creative and empathic can really transform the learning experience for students with special needs. Okay, Daniela, thank you. Your answer gave us a deep insight into changes and possibilities of bilingualism in Colombia.
Thank you, Brian. It was pleasure discussing these critical issues with you.
Okay, bye bye, Daniela.
Bye.